In your opinion, what is the best way to pass the SIE? Well, get the passing score would be the best way to pass. I'm being facetious. You have Kaplan and STC and have been binging all your material. Would love some words of advice. My exam is in 2 months. Well, I think you got plenty of time, and I don't know what you're already scoring if you're doing a practice test. But in terms of building your study plan, Brian and I think we have what we call best practices. And I'll give Brian his board so he can speak this. This is my way for all exams, not just.
That is correct. There is a best practices. I have a little blog. It's actually in writing. A lot of people ask me this very same question. I send them this blog. I refer to it as the 3-pillar process. The textbook and the practice questions are the first thing you start with. That's what lays the foundation. Dean's videos, my video course, then consolidate that into the most testable concepts that you expect to see. I call it the core content. And then, sometimes people will say, well, I saw 5 or 6 questions that I've never seen on your stuff or the textbooks. Correct. Welcome to the test world. We all get that, right? But that core content is what everybody is going to get that you absolutely have to know, right? So Dean's videos and or Brian's test key videos, that's the consolidation. That's where we know from the last 27 and a half years or whatever it's been, right? This is the core content. It's on the content outline from NASA and FINRA. Everybody gets that stuff. And then, of course, you go through the practice exams, not the same one every, 18 times. There are many of them. On Kaplan, it's the simulated exams I like. I have one, right? Dean has some replications that he does for practice finals. That's the 3-pillar process, right? Once you get to the practice finals, you take inventory. Oh, I only got a 68%. Then you use the performance tracker to remediate those weak areas. That's the 3-pillar process. Textbooks, our supplements, and then the practice finals.
And good news, CT. On my channel, I have an entire playlist of SIE practice tests from various vendors, including Brian. I have 2 versions. One where you can hit pause. It's just me. Hit play, answer, hit play, and see my explication of that question.
That's right.
But we also have test takers who've been kind enough to share their practice tests with the channel. So in other words, you can watch me and an SIE student do the exam together. Some people, I guess, Misery Loves Company. Those seem to be more popular than just watching me. Same deal though. You hit pause, come up with your answer, see our candidate try and answer, and then see where you're at. But yeah, you want to start doing that once you get through. Now, please note in that first step, I get so aggravated, Brian, when people try and skip that. Right. And we can tell when they don't have enough base knowledge laid from reading the book and doing the exercises and unit quizzes that they're on step 2 and they haven't done step 1. I had CD today. I said, well, what was your practice test score? She had a long kind of thing on social media about how she doesn't feel she's doing well, but left out the data point that we need. What was your practice test score? And then it's anonymous, but she said she's in the 50s. And CT, that means she hasn't laid enough base knowledge. She shouldn't be doing a practice test. She's on step 1 and she's trying to do step 3. And that, you can't do that. You got to go back and lay that base. I call it laying base.
I do too. Laying foundation.
Rhode Island. All right, cool. Yep. All right. Woo! We ring the bell. For whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee, Cazell. Testing victories. Some bells ring when angels get wings. Our bell rings when people are victorious. I'm not surprised you had all kinds of mutual fund questions. Mutual funds are huge on every exam. And you know what's good is that's going to pay dividends for you on your next leg of your testing journey. Whether that's a Series 6, whether it's a 7, you're going to almost be able to pass out of a 6 if you really paid attention and overlearned those mutual funds. European style, not surprised. Most of the options are recognition. So kudos. You want to overlearn that SIE because getting that first texting victory is so key to motivation, right? You don't want to, wobble out of the SIE. You want to kill it. You want to master it.